a story about one man whose name is Krishnaji. He is from south of India, from the state of Kerala. He used to be with the Mandali in the 50s. He now is outside this country, has assumed the name of Baba, and has also imitated Baba's silence and is observing silence, is said to be observing silence, because one never knows when he speaks. He poses himself to be a spiritual master and has a following in England and in the States. So the story unfolds thus. And I would like you to know that Krishnaji was first brought to Baba in 1952 by one of the Baba lovers, and he was permitted to stay near Baba for 3 days. Baba then sent him to Sakori for a stay there. At Sakori, he played havoc with the inmates, and the chief of the ashram there petitioned to Baba that this man be called back, for his character was not at all pleasing to most of the ashramites at Sakori. Krishnaji was recalled then in 1952, and thereafter, whenever Baba went out on mass darshan tours, he was seen around Baba, for he accompanied Baba along with all the Mandali to the state of Andhra and to the district of Hamirpur in UP, etc. Later in the year 1953, Baba sent him to Kashmir for 4 months and asked him to stay in solitude at a quiet place away from the crowd and from the modern amenities. He went to Kashmir and, contrary to Baba's order, spent the money that was given to him for the expenses of 4 months by staying in a hotel very lavishly. He returned soon after the money was finished, in a very short period. Baba was displeased and sent him to the south of India, admonishing him that he should know best how to obey him. For when he had come to Baba in the beginning, he had said that he would obey Baba literally and implicitly. In the south of India, Baba wanted him to go through the Baba books so that he could learn the ways of Baba and remain in a remote village, not mixing with the people. One does not know what he did in the south. We, the Mandali, find him again in 1954 around Baba, and he is once again seen in Ahmednagar in Wadia Park, where Baba is giving darshan to the masses, to tens of thousands of people, and when there was also a meeting of the Western and Eastern Baba lovers. It seemed to most of the Mandali that he tried to exploit his presence around Baba, especially when crowds would come to Baba for his darshan. He wore a long sadra, grew a beard and had long hair. He felt that he had an imposing personality and would boast of it very often to us, the Mandli. He would even sometimes give a chuckle and tell the Mandli how he had fooled some innocent heart which thought that Krishnaji was some great saint. Baba had to remind him time and again to beware of the trap that he was setting for himself by trying to look big in the eyes of the crowd. Baba even told him to remove his hair and beard and wear ordinary clothes and become humble and obedient to him. Baba reminded him that when he had come first, he yearned for love, and Baba had promised that if ever he was in search of love, he had come to the right place, for Baba is love personified. Baba showered his love on him in abundance, despite all his shortcomings, and through love always hinted that Krishnaji should mend his ways and not pretend to be someone that he is not. After darshan program in Ahmednagar and the East-West meeting in 1954 at Mehrabad, he joined Baba again in Satara for another darshan program there. And from Satara, Baba sent him to Mehrazad near Kakabaria. Baba had given Krishnaji strict orders to observe while staying at Mehrazad, which he never carried out. Unfortunately, at that time, some filming party came to Adi wanting to film Baba, while Baba was in strict seclusion in Satara. And of course, Baba was not available. But Adi got a brainwave to have the film of the different sites associated with Baba at Mehrazad and asked Krishnaji to impersonate Baba in the film, which he did so very gladly, for which Krishnaji must be chuckling in his sleeves, while Adi is deeply sore at the thought of it. Baba had told Krishnaji at that time to sit quietly for an hour at midnight and repeat his name or some such thing, which I don't recall now, which he never did as usual. This was too much for Kakabaria to bear. Kaka was kept fully informed of the instructions that were given to Krishnaji and was told to help Krishnaji in obeying them. Kaka very often reminded Krishnaji, and Kaka would wake him up frequently while Krishnaji was found asleep when he should be doing things that Baba had ordered him to do during the hours. The point of exasperation was reached, and Kakabaria came all the way from Mehrazad to Satara, where Baba was, and reported the misdeeds of Krishnaji. Krishnaji was recalled to Satara, and Bhav Kalchuri was expressly told by Baba to look after Krishnaji at the end of 1954. For a whole year till 1955, Bhav was given the duty to help Krishnaji obey all the orders of Baba. And Bhav did this implicitly without any complaint. Krishnaji took advantage of this situation and literally made Bhav serve him as a servant would do. asking him to massage his body, prepare his bath, his bed, wash his clothes, clean his utensils, wake him up exactly at midnight so that he could sit in meditation for an hour as Baba had told him to do so, etc., etc. While Bhau had also to attend to other duties apportioned to him by Baba. At the end of 1955 or so, one day, Dr. Neelu spots Bhau on a road in Satara, carrying a huge bundle of bedroll upon his head, following this man Krishnaji, who was walking ahead with a stick in his hand, with a long robe and flowing hair. It was Krishnaji's bedding roll that Bhau was carrying on his head, because Krishnaji had ordered him to do so. Neelu was extremely distressed at the sight and asked Bhau as to what he was doing, and he said that he was simply carrying out his beloved Baba's orders to do things which Krishnaji needed done by the help of Bhau. This was too much for Neelu to bear, and he reported this matter to Baba. Baba called Bhau and asked him what would he do if a fresh flower were to be given to him. How long would he keep it? He said he would keep it. Baba said that he was pleased with his service to Krishnaji, but to have a bit of common sense and not that. And now that the flower was dried up, it is senseless to continue to keep it with him. Best is to throw it out. And thus ended Bhau's slavery. Many other things did take place in between, and one of the humorous sides of it was Baba made Krishnaji serve Bhau, which Krishnaji did not do wholeheartedly, and Baba had to bring home to him his promise of obedience to Baba in return for love that was being showered upon him. It was also brought home to him that Baba had never failed him, whereas he had failed him totally. So now he should be alert and careful with Baba's orders. He was then told to realize the seriousness and the enormity of the situation and be prepared to undertake anything that Baba would order him to do. For this Krishnaji should be totally responsible, and therefore it was necessary that he should also obtain permission from his parents and get a letter to the effect. So either in 1955 end or 56, he was sent to the south back to his home to bring a written permission from his parents, which he did not do. He could not bring this because they refused, and that was the excuse he gave. He came back to Satara and continued to be with the Mandali all the time, pretending to obey Baba. But he always disobeyed. Very soon he contracted an infectious disease and suffered very much. He was with the Mandali all the time. The Mandali looked after him, nursed him, and helped him to get well. By this time he had become very weak due to his horrible sickness. which lasted for nearly a month. When he was out of his bed on his own, he asked Baba's permission that he would like to go back to his home, and Baba gave his permission and told him to go. Krishnaji said that he would go the next day, but Baba told him to go the same day. Krishnaji said that his clothes were washed and were drying. Baba said that his wet clothes he could bundle them and take them with him. So Krishnaji left for home the same evening. Nothing is heard of him till one day in 1959. Nothing is heard of him till one day in 1959 he comes with a woman to Meherazad. The woman is one of his school friends. The woman is one of his girlfriends from his hometown by name Savitri. Very smart young woman having a master's degree in English. Krishnaji introduced this woman to Baba and he sent them away after giving his blessings. Again in 1961 we find Krishnaji with this same woman come to see Baba while he was in Guru Prasad. Baba blessed them both and showered upon them his love and told Savitri not to leave Krishnaji, and both were exhorted by Baba not to go to Sakori because the ashram people of Sakori had begged of Baba that Krishnaji be sent never to them again. Baba sent them both back the same hour after that. We heard that they both went to Delhi and lived in an apartment where, after a passage of time, one of Baba's lovers, Mr. Shatrughna Kumar, spotted them and had a good conversation with them. Kumar invited them to his house in Dehradun, where they did go and enjoyed their stay with good food, liquor and hospitality. Kumar advised Krishnaji and Savitri to get married and exhorted them that this would be the best in the eyes of the world rather than living together a promiscuous life, and in the same breath uttering Baba's name and preaching to crowds about Baba and his love. Both promised to get married. They returned to Delhi. In the meantime, this man Krishnaji had started observing silence periodically and would boast about his silence to the people and bring in Baba's name and his silence into disrepute by his life. He even imitated Baba by flashing his fingers over the board which he got made for himself. Friends of Kumar would now and then bring news to him of Krishnaji. Krishnaji remained scot-free in spite of the ire of the Mandali and most especially of Shatrughna Kumar. With the passage of time and in this frame of mind, Shatrughna Kumar was once permitted by Baba to come and stay with the Mandali at Meherazad. In his early years, he had fought many battles as a revolutionary and had faced many a bully and had joined in many riots. But after having come in contact of Baba, this revolutionary was totally changed and was like a lamb. But Krishnaji's attitude had once again boiled Mr. Kumar's blood, and his hands itched to mend Krishnaji, the great pretender. But Kumar found himself helpless because of Baba's injunction not to raise his hand on anybody. With this helplessness, he arrived at Meher Azad, and after a day's stay, while he was sitting all by himself in Mandli Hall, his eyes fell on a board displaying the saying of Tukaram, the perfect master. The saying, when translated into English, will read as follows: there are many hypocrites wandering on the streets, having long matted hair and bodies smeared with ash. Tukaram says to them, may the conscience of such hypocrites burn to ashes. It would never be a sin if such hypocrites were thrashed with shoes on the streets. When Mr. Kumar read this, something in his heart of hearts said that it will not be a sin of disobedience to Baba if he were to thrash that scoundrel of a man. Soon after this, he went to Delhi on his way to his hometown Dehradun, and he went to the flat where Krishnaji lived. He found both Savitri, the girlfriend, and Krishnaji in the flat. He called Krishnaji to a room, told Savitri to go to her room, and both Krishnaji and Kumar held a conversation. Kumar begged Krishnaji to mend his ways in the love of Baba and begged him to shed his hypocritical tactics. But Krishnaji insisted that he would use his silence and he would use the board. This seems to have aroused Kumar's disgust, and he thrashed Krishnaji and said that if love cannot mend him, maybe these blows will remind him of Baba's love. Thus Kumar left Delhi to go to Dehradun to his home. Soon after this, Krishnaji got a leaflet printed with a caption, "The blows I dedicate," and he distributed this to most of the Baba lovers. In reply to this, Adi had to circulate a circular letter dated April 10, 1964. Which has a reference in the text of I.V.O. Deuce's book called How a Master Works Under Hypocrisy. After Baba dropped the body, Krishnaji seems to have told many that he has been the chosen disciple of Meher Baba, that he is the chargeman of Meher Baba, that in him Meher Baba's silence will be broken, that in him the word of words will burst forth, etc., etc. He went to England and created a following. He went to the United States and added a crowd to his following. All this was not at all surprising to me, but the contents of a leaflet that I read regarding a treasure hunt and the treasure found by certain Americans in Florida did surprise me, because I had taken Krishnaji as an ace hypocrite for granted, but had never dreamt that his hypocrisy could ever shape itself in the form of a treasure hunter. He seems to have adopted an expertise in hunting treasure, I also heard from our dear Kitty Devi, who is with us at Mehrazad, that a party of 4, which included Krishnaji, had visited Myrtle Beach this September thrice and met Elizabeth, Jane and Kitty and showed them some of their treasure, the dazzling jewelry and many precious stones, trying to find customers to buy them, etc., etc. Please beware of this man who calls himself Baba and is observing silence, as it is said. He and his silence dupe the innocent and the shrewd alike. Before Krishnaji came to beloved Baba, he had joined an ashram and was under Guru Natarajan in Gurukul in South India. Krishnaji played lots of mischief in the Gurukul and never took any situation seriously. At last, he was literally driven out of the Gurukul by the followers of Guru Natarajan. Guru Natarajan had once come to Ahmednagar with a westerner for beloved Baba's darshan. Krishnaji once told me that all he picked up at the Gurukul was the art of dialectics. Yes, the man who threatened Krishnaji in Delhi, though old, is still alive in Dehradun. He is Shatrughna Kumar, father of Amrit and father-in-law of Dara Irani. Both Amrit and Dara live with Mrs. Vilu Irani in Ahmednagar. Hope this serves the purpose in a little way to warn Baba lovers from the wolf. In this, there can be the possibility of a slight mix-up in dates by me, but I have tried best to recall faithfully some episodes concerning the man, Krishnaji, who calls himself Baba and who is said to observe silence. When Krishnaji was with us, the Mandali, he had given the following address of his father: M.K. Achutan, Prashant, Post Kotakad, via Trikarpur, South Canara. Now it is in Kerala state. While he was in Delhi, Krishnaji gave us the following address. It is in care of his girlfriend Savitri. Krishnaji, care of V.K. Savitri, M.A., M.Lit., Institute for Research in Economic and Social Growth, Delhi University, Malka Ganj Road, Delhi 6. Jai Baba.